For this next section, the main focus is going to be on using skin toned colors. So I'm going to play the time lapse here, but the first thing to do is find different pieces of skin color that are similar to your reference picture that you're looking at. So I'm just going to rip out a few from a magazine, but you could definitely find skin tones from your tissue paper or different materials. But I'm just trying my best to kind of take some of those swatches that I have and hover them over the picture to kind of place the value. So look at the skin tones and try to find areas that are dark versus light for your highlights, shadows, and medium tones. So I'm trying to grab some of the darker tones for the shadows. The lighter areas are underneath the lips on the chin, so I'm trying to find some lighter tones there. And I'm even bringing in some white pages from the book that have text to add to those lighter highlights on the face. So looking at your reference picture, just try your best to kind of match the tones and the swatches to fill in your different sections. When you get to the lips, same thing, I would try to find some of the darker pinks, some of the reds to bring in, some purples just to overlap. And for this section as well, I want you to try ripping up your pieces versus cutting them, just to see the difference in texture and how it looks compared to what we've been working with previously. So try ripping up those sections to place them onto the face and try to overlap the different areas of light and dark. I know that when you get to this point, it doesn't look super detailed, but remember you'll eventually go in and add details on top of it. At this point now I'm going to start to kind of refine the sections and bring back some of the detail. So I'm going to start with some tissue paper, and I'm going to use some lighter colored tissue paper just to kind of blend and create a more seamless value of the different tones that I have. So I'm grabbing some of the lighter colored tissue paper such as the white, there's more of a peachy tone that you can use, and I'm just gluing it down over some of the areas to smooth out and add a bit more color to it. So I'm bringing in a little bit of red for the lips, some of that lighter color on the face to blend together the lighter tones with the shadows. I'm using some brown to outline where the chin is, just to darken those up. And then I want you to try taking charcoal, or you could always use pen as well, Sharpie, different materials, and bring back detail on top of the face. So try to outline that line for where the edge of the nose is and shade in the nostril. And then I'm shading in the side of the face where there's shadow, a little bit along the chin. And then going in it on the lips is super important to add that line to separate the middle two lips and then the top and bottom lip there. And then the last thing I did was charcoal and watercolor. So I used the white charcoal in the highlights to lighten those up. And then just like the nose we practiced, I'm bringing in some of the watercolor just to incorporate more of a smooth transition, blend some of the tones together. Since it's see-through, you're still going to have the nice texture of your ripped up paper underneath. So I'm bringing in some yellows, reds, and browns. I put the reds in more of the medium tones, and then I'm using the yellows in the highlights to lighten up some areas. And then the last thing I'm doing here is bringing in more areas of white. So I used some ripped up pages of a book that had just a little bit of text on it, and then I'm adding those to the areas that are completely white right on top of that watercolor just to have the contrast. So you want areas that are light and areas that are dark to really emphasize the form.